Did you know you could have literally thousands of dollars sitting in your house and you don't even realize it? What? Wait, okay, this is not one of those gimmicks. This is one of those serious things. You could literally have like hundreds and thousands of dollars just sitting around your house and not even realize it. Of course, I'm going to be talking to you about making money decluttering. So let's get into it. Okay, so who knew you could make so much money decluttering? Seriously, I didn't. I had no idea that decluttering was gonna make me money. At the start of last year, I got into this big decluttering mindset. We were going to be moving out of our house, moving into one that was gonna be renovated, and then we ended up moving out of that house and like living in this tiny little place. So we needed to get rid of a lot of our stuff, and I just didn't want so much stuff around anymore. I just didn't want all of the clutter. So I decided to get in and get some decluttering done. So it started out as this little thing like, oh, I don't need to throw that out. I could probably just sell it. And so I did. And I think I made like $10 from the first thing that I sold. And I was like,
I'm onto something here.
I was talking to my husband about it and I was like, I wonder how much money I could actually make decluttering the things in our house. Like, I wonder how much money I could make just selling the things that we don't want anymore. And so I set a goal, and I set a goal of making $500 in a month. And I thought that was a big stretch. I was just like, it's not gonna happen really, but I'll give it a shot. It turns out in that month, I made $2,000 just selling the stuff that we didn't want or need anymore. $2,000, that's huge. And when we were at a point where we were really trying to clear our debts so we could save up and buy our house, that was a massive chunk of money. So I'm going to share with you exactly what I did to make $2,000 in 1 month from decluttering our house. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is you need to set a goal. I thought initially that the $500 goal that I set was going to be a big stretch goal, and I ended up absolutely smashing it out of the park. So my advice to you is set a stretch goal. Don't set something that's easy to achieve or that you think is going to be like, I can do that. Set yourself a stretch goal. Go for gold. Go big. Go big or go home. Set yourself a massive goal. When you have a big goal, you do push yourself that bit harder to get there. So set yourself that big goal and write it down. The importance of writing down your goal is that you'll then see it. Write it big, put it on your fridge and look at it every single day. When you do that, you're going to see it, you're going to remember it, and then you're going to take action on it, because when you see it every single day, you're going to remind yourself, I need to be working towards that goal. Make sure it's there. Make sure that you know it's there, that you see it, and work towards it. Next thing that you need to do is declutter. You need to find some things to declutter. Now, not all of your stuff is going to sell very well, no matter how much you think it will. There are some things that just don't sell as well as others, and you need to work out what that is in your area. For example, here, clothes, no matter what, even if I paid $500 for an item and I was trying to sell it for $20, it just doesn't sell. Clothes just don't sell well here, so they were off the cards, wasn't going to sell them. And so I jumped onto some local buy swap sell sites and onto like the local Gumtree site and local auction sites, and I had a look at what was actually on there and what was selling. So I watched those for a couple of days and took note of what things had the most comments on them, what things had no comments on them, and if they had no comments, I was kind of understanding then that they weren't selling and that wasn't an item that people were wanting. And so I started taking note of the things that were selling fast and selling really well. And I started looking for those items around my home. Now, a big word of warning here. Don't just sell things in your home to make money with the full intention of buying them again later. There's no point to that. You're not going to end up ahead. You're just going to be throwing money out doing that. So only sell things if you know that you no longer want them, no longer need them, and you're not going to use them anymore. Okay, so once you have your big list of items that you are going to sell and that you're decluttering from your home, the next thing you need to do is work out how much you're going to sell them for. There's a big difference between what you want to sell it for, what you think it's worth, and what someone is willing to pay for it. This is where your research comes in handy. So get back on that site, get back on your local buy, swap and sell sites and have a look at what prices things are actually selling for. So you really don't want to undersell yourself either. You don't want to list things for too cheap when you could be making more money, but you also don't want to list things so high that nobody's actually going to buy them. So next to your list of all the things that you're going to sell, pop in some price ranges perhaps. Maybe you can put a list price on there and a price that you're willing to sell it for, because most of the time people will try and talk you down in price and they'll try and negotiate a better price with you. Okay, so once you have your list and once you have your prices set out, you need to start taking some photos of the items that you want to sell. So your phone will generally take good enough photos for you to be listing, but what you really need to do is make sure that the photos are well lit, that they're light and bright, that the details of the items can be seen clearly, and you need to make sure that you show any imperfections, scratches, dents, or anything like that that might be in the item, because you need to be honest. Take as many photos as you can. The more photos, the better. I don't feel like you can ever have too many photos. I think some sites do have limits on how many you can upload, but I found the more photos that I had for an item, the faster that item sold. There's some really good editing apps that you can use that'll help you if you need to lighten and brighten your photos. But generally speaking, if you can take a photo in a well-lit area, use a big window like I have in front of me at the moment, just use a big window, a nice simple background, make sure you clear any clutter out from around the item, it'll be a great photo. Okay, so now you have your items, you've got your prices, and you've got your photos. The next thing you need to do is write descriptions for your items when you're listing them to sell. One of the things that I noticed with items that didn't sell well was that people didn't really put a great description in. They would put something like XYZ for sale, and that was it. But they didn't give any detail, and they didn't make it personal, and they didn't really try and sell the item. So how do you write a great description? The first thing that you need to do is you need to hook someone in with something interesting. I'm not just selling a white vase, I'm selling a beautiful decorative white ceramic vase. I'm not just selling a painting of trees, I'm selling a beautiful hand-painted canvas of local eucalyptus trees. So how do you write a good description? The first thing that you need to do is you need to actually describe the item. Have a look at what you're selling and use emotive adjectives, use any kind of words that you can to describe the item. Don't just say simply what it is, but use a few more words in there to really describe it. So the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference in whether or not you sell your items well and you sell them fast and you get the amount of money that you're asking for is to use your descriptions and to use your descriptions to sell like a pro. So the one thing that took me from selling just a few items that I listed to selling just about every single item that I put up for sale was my descriptions. So the words that you use to sell your items really do matter. It's not really good enough to put an item up that says like outdoor table for sale, 6 chairs, good condition. It doesn't really tell me much about it. Okay, sure, it's an outdoor table. You've got 6 chairs and it's in good condition. So what? The thing is, you're selling something, you're marketing it. And to do that, you need to take that next step and really use your descriptions like an absolute pro. Okay, so I'm gonna read out to you what I would put in that description. If I was selling an outdoor table with 6 chairs and it was in good condition, this is exactly what I would write. Selling in great condition, outdoor table complete with 6 chairs, perfect for the warm summer nights to entertain outdoors and enough space for all the family and for your family barbecues. Has been used with love and hoping to pass on to someone else who will create even more amazing memories chatting, drinking and eating around this table. Do you see the difference? Do you see how the second description really creates that idea of owning it? So when someone reads it, they can hear, they can visualize exactly what they're going to use that table for. Trust me, this extra few minutes that it takes to write your descriptions is going to be worth it. Okay, so you've got your items, you've got your prices, you've got your photos, and you've got your absolute pro descriptions. The next thing you need to do is list them in the places that make the most sense. So for me, I used our local Facebook buy, swap and sell pages as opposed to any of the other online websites that you could list items for. And I found that that's what worked best for me, but you might need to find which one works best for you and what works best for the items that you have for sale. When you have a lot of listings up and you have a lot of items for sale, it can get really confusing really quickly if you don't just keep track of everything. So if you have people coming to pick stuff up and they're just telling you, oh, I'm coming to pick this up, and you don't really know when or where, get yourself a notebook or create a table of some description and write out what you have for sale, where it's listed, and then make sure you have some space in there to write down who's buying it and who's coming to pick it up and when. This way you can also keep track of how much money you're making and how close to your goal you are. As a general rule, if an item that I listed hadn't sold within 3 to 5 days, I would take it down, I would wait a week, I would take some new photos, and I'd relist it again to see if it would sell. If it didn't sell by the second time, then I would let that item go. I wouldn't sell it, I would donate it somewhere, or I would pass it on to someone else who needed it as opposed to trying to sell it. So using these methods and strategies, I was able to make $2,000 in 1 month decluttering, and I do this on a regular basis now. And we do this as a regular check-in now, so every couple of months we'll be like, okay, do we need to actually clear anything out? Is there any money that we can make? Is there something that we're not using anymore? And we do take stock of what is in our home. If you're not quite sure what you can declutter, I do have some links in the description below that'll help you find things in your home that you may not need anymore and that you can get rid of. And be sure to comment below. I want to hear, what have you sold? How much money have you made selling things that you've decluttered from your home? I really want to hear if this works for you and how much money you've been able to make clearing things from your home that you don't need or want or use anymore. Decluttering your home doesn't have to be something that's super overwhelming, and it is something that can make you a whole heap of money if you do it properly. So get in there, give it a go, and let me know how it works for you. If you like this video, please be sure to hit subscribe down below and hit the bell notification icon next to it so you get notified anytime that we post a new video. I genuinely appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.